Hey Nick, how you doing?
What's going on, my man?
Nothing much. That was the smoothest entry into the live I've had yet. For some reason, I always have like connection problems or like I'm getting blocked out to have someone join. That was good. As I'm having connection problems and can't hear you. Spoke too soon. Can
Can you
can you
hear
hear me
me?
now? Yeah, I can hear you now. I spoke too soon, I
Cool.
guess.
You jinxed it, dude. You jinxed
I,
it.
I know, but thanks for as people are getting on here. Thanks for taking the time to jump on the live and nerd out about training and kind of your story and all that kind of stuff. Um,
Of course, man. I've watched a couple of your other ones, and I was like, this is cool. I like what this guy's putting out.
Thank
So,
you,
yeah.
appreciate that. I mean, at this point, I figured most people probably know who you are, but if you want to give like a little intro for the people that live under a rock, who are you? What do you do? And yeah, we'll start off there.
Yeah, so my name is Nick Young. I own Velox Training Group, as you can see on Instagram here. All around like shooting nerd. I travel all over the United States teaching civilians, law enforcement, military, um, how to go fast and be accurate, pretty much.
Yeah,
Shoot some matches here and there when I'm home.
nice.
Have a good time with that. Yep.
So you start, so kind of, what was your start? Do you start teaching first? You start shooting matches first? I'm obviously assuming you started shooting in general first, but did you start teaching and then like, all right, this match stuff is legit, I got to start and see what it's about, or was it the other way around kind of?
Oh man, you're gonna love this. So probably I would say like 12 years ago, I was like all into shooting. Like I was taking all of the defensive classes, like rolling around on the ground, shooting from supine, right? Like shooting from all these like crazy fighting positions. And the reason that I was doing that was like, well, at the time I was like, well, this is what resembles what I want to do with this thing. If I need to be able to do it, like I want to protect my family, protect myself, etc. And I wasn't really exposed to any sort of practical shooting at the time or any sort of like shooting sports, so to speak. So I had a buddy who we shot, right? Like he kind of lived nearby and like he was super heavy into three gun and he was like, hey man, you should come out and shoot a match. And I was like, dude, no way. Like I will never go do that stuff. And if I went, like I would completely crush those guys. And so like enough bullying happened and I showed up. I want to say I showed up with a Scar 16 with a red dot on
Okay.
it for targets out to 500, and then a pump Mossberg, which was not
Nice.
ideal at all. Like shotgun shells in my pocket or whatever, and then like a an M&P 1.0
Those
in
things are
9 mil with
brutal.
iron sights. And I showed up like I'm gonna crush these dudes. Like there's no way that these gamer guys shoot really well. And then like obviously I got my shit pushed in and it was actually very, very good for me. I don't like the way that shit makes me feel at all. And so it like whenever that happens, it lights a fire.
Mm.
People that are friends with me will tell you like if you shot with me, you stand behind me and bully me, it's like that's really, really good for me. Like I need that. Um,
Yeah.
like I'm gonna shoot better. So anyway, like shot the match, saw how people shot, and it was like I've never seen people shoot this fast and accurate before. And so it just kind of set me on the path of like this is really cool, and I kind of changed paths, right? So the majority of the classes I did from there were going to be like practical shooting, like whether it was you know trying to be super accurate. Like I took one class where we were like shooting a bunch of B8s, which at the time it was like this is awesome. Like we're shooting B8s, like I'm shooting this thing in under 10 seconds, all in the black. Like this is badass. Never done this before. But from there, it's just like I shot three gun for a couple years. I shot PRS. I shot Steel Challenge, and then most recently USPSA. And then probably 8 years ago, 8, 9 years ago, I started teaching, but I started with another company.
Mhm.
And then a couple years into that, like I don't do anything like half-ass. It's always like pedal to the metal. Like if I'm in it, I am all in it. And
Feel
so
that.
this guy only want to do like, I don't know, 5-6 classes a year, and I'm like, nope, that's not enough for me. And so him and I, parted ways. And looking back, it's like, man, that was like one of the best things that has ever happened to me. It's parting ways with him.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that's kind of how I started this. And this Velox started 5 years ago.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
it's been a
5 years
while
ago.
now. Yeah, because I heard you like you've been coming to Granby for a handful of years now, in this area. I'm pretty sure at least the past like 3, right?
This would be my second year going to Granby.
Past
Yep.
2. Okay.
I've
But
been to like Maine and New Hampshire and stuff. Like I've been all around, the what do you call it?
New
The
England.
Northeast or whatever. New England. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
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 No, you're going up to New Hampshire this weekend, right? Hanging out with Luther and
Mm-hmm.
Isco.
Yep. Yep. I'm
Yeah.
excited about that.
Yeah, they're awesome. Yeah, Isco's the man. Luther's great too. Wearing his shirt right now. But yeah,
I like Isco.
I was talking to Isco a few days ago or today. I don't know, probably both. And he's hyped. You're coming up, and he's ready to get after it.
Dude, such a nice guy, man. He was like, "Hey, I'll cook steaks for everybody." I'm like, I mean, you don't have to do that, dude. And he's like, "No, no worries."
He loves to, dude. Just say yes. Just say
Okay.
yes.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, but I had a pretty similar, not as far as like the teaching side, but as far as competitive shooting, pretty similar start. I've only really stuck with USPSA. I got the bug right away, and I don't even care to look anywhere else.
It's currently it's the place. I
Yeah,
haven't shot PCSL yet. It looks like it's
it's
pretty
a lot
similar
of fun.
in terms of like, hey, this is this is like very, very organized, that type of thing. But like, dude, out of all of the stuff that I've shot in terms of sports, USPSA is the one.
Yeah, I've shot PCSL 2-gun and 1-gun as well, and I like it a lot because obviously I
Yeah,
get to run it, the AR and the competition pistol, and it's pretty much USPSA but 2-gun,
yeah,
and it's a little bit more laid back, which I like. Like you
right,
go to USPSA matches, depending on your club, or obviously if it's a major, it's very serious. Unless you're with a good group of guys, like usually the tempo and like the ROs, like everything's pretty serious, right? Like people are there, like spend a lot of money to train into it.
sure,
They put a lot of time into it. A lot of people's careers are centered around it. There's always that like, and it's like the main picture of like the sport of shooting. So it's like
sure.
professional athletes in it.
1000%. Yes.
PCSL is like where all the boys go and shoot and train. It's like it's just laid back. The safety rules are a little bit more laid back. Like
Yep.
instead of like a safe table, it's just be near a berm. You could these guys using a bunch of different guns because it is a little less like serious. So they're like those guns that are just sitting in their safe that they never shoot. They're like I'll go bring it to the local PCSL match and run it. So I do it for that, and obviously it gets me to run and gun with the rifle.
I like it.
Which is fun. It's a lot of fun. I wish they had some that were more local to my area, but I got to drive like 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and still, I know for some people that's like, dude, that is local.
Yeah.
But I got matches like this weekend. I'm shooting a USPSA match 10 minutes from my house.
See, that's how it is here, man. Like I can go to Chris Tilley's match. It's 20 minutes from my house. The closest PCSL match is 6 hours.
Yeah.
So it's like, dude, I have to go get a hotel. Like I can't just go drive to that and drive home when I'm done. So
right. And a lot of stuff.
Unfortunately, it's kind of out of the cards for me. Right.
Especially if you have your own range, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So especially if you have your own range, it's like just set up a stage at the house.
Yep.
And run it. Like you're gonna get, unless it's like a real big local match, like with 6+ stages, and you got some heat coming to shoot against.
Yep.
As far as the training value, I mean that's a whole nother topic between like using local matches as practice versus not. Like the practice aspect of it, you can get 100% setting up full stages at your own range and just running it 6 different ways. As long as you're like concentrated on what you're going to practice with each run. I'm not just running it for reps. But yeah, that's tough when it's 6 hours. Like you don't want to be doing that. Like you'd have to dedicate a whole weekend away from the fam or from teaching a class
Yep.
for a local match to just like sling lead with the boys. It's
Yeah.
just not worth
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. And that's kind of where I'm at with it. It's like I wanted to go to PCSL Nationals, but it's like that falls on my son's birthday. So it's like,
Got to be a dad.
yeah, I told my wife, I'm like, hey, we should all go to Utah. It'd be great fun. And she's like, why? I'm like, well, PCSL Nationals.
No reason.
Y'all have the birthday somewhere while I'm shooting a match. Like, no, I can't do that. Like, I don't want to be a shit dad. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, you
yeah,
got to be a good dad first. That's respectable. But kind of segueing a little bit, we kind of talked about it, but there's still a lot of people that are like very hesitant on shooting matches, right?
really,
For
I do not run into these people.
I'm sure you do. That's why I'm about to ask you. Um, for those stubborn people that think that it's not worth it, how would you say for them to gain? Because I think a big thing for people that don't want to be like competitors or really like athletes in the sport, like I get that, right? We all have different goals and
Sure.
aspirations. I think the big point of people why they should shoot matches is that it allows you, like you talked about, gain that perspective. Like you really don't know what's out there until you go talk to the shooting nerds. In all
For
reality,
sure.
the guys that do 100% shooting all the time are going to be the best shooters. I would put my money on it. For the guys that are like, I don't need to shoot matches, I can just get good. How do you think those people should gain their perspective? How do you think they should really push themselves to get better, like without matches? Is it possible, in your opinion, especially if you don't have like a training partner that's already shooting matches? Like, do you think it's possible for that magical solo person to do it, or do you think shooting matches is probably the way to go?
Is it possible? Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a guy on IG, Calculated Methods. Like, if you guys go look up him, uh, to my knowledge, he doesn't shoot matches, and that dude completely shreds. And he shreds because he takes in a ton of information online. Like he follows very specific people, takes in a ton of information, and then trains a lot. Um, and I mean, quite honestly, that's the situation that I'm in, right? Just because almost every single weekend I'm on the road, and if I'm not on the road during the week or during the weekend, I'm on the road during the week. So it's like it's hard for me to get home, if I only have like 4 weekends out of the year and be like, hey, this weekend I'm gone. So, I mean, is it possible? Yeah, for sure. However, shooting a match is way more eye opening than going to the range and just shooting on your own.
Yeah,
Actually caring about where you place, um, you know, especially like the better you get, the better a match is going to be. And what I mean is like, if you're not in danger of winning, then it doesn't really matter, right? If you're not in danger of winning a local, it's like, all right. Like, there's still great things to get out of it. Like, you can go there and see, like, hey, here's how really, really good shooters shoot. And then you could talk to them and see how they train and all that jazz. But, like, if you're actually in danger of winning, you will give a shit about how you shoot the match. And it will definitely change, how you feel inside. And that will affect how you shoot. And like, in other words, it'll give you a good opportunity to pressure test some of the skills that, you've hopefully been working on in your own training. And it should give you an idea of where to go from there in your training. But I
yeah.
think you have to be at a specific level of understanding for that to start taking place. If that makes
Yeah,
sense.
I mean, I'd agree and disagree on some part of those just because, like, I was that person when I started that thought I was good at shooting, right? Like, maybe shot less than 1,000 rounds in my life at that point, right?
Yeah,
And like, oh, like, I'm better than, sorry if my friends are watching, but all my local buddies, I'm like, we go to the range, shoot trash with each other, and it's like, it's fun. I can hit all the bullseyes. I'm the
yeah,
best shooter. And then you go shoot a match, and you're like, oh my God. I
for
don't
sure.
even I don't even know I don't even know how to hold the gun.
For sure.
you know?
Dude,
Um,
that was my first match experience. Like I thought I was great and then was like, nope, you sir are
yeah.
not.
Yeah. I mean I'm very lucky I fell I don't know if you ever met Angel Sanchez yet.
Not yet, no.
Um, but he's the on the for Granby. He's the Pistol Bay director. So you'll probably interact with him at one of these years. But so basically, I got my first gun, randomly shot. I would shoot like 50 rounds a month. Like I'd literally go to the range with a box of ammo. I'd
Hell
like
yeah, brother.
literally put up whatever paper target, whoever Cool Online had. I didn't even know who was Cool Online. I just like, oh, I can print this for free and shoot it. That's for me. I'd
Hell
go
yeah.
spend like 4 hours at the range shooting 50 rounds, hanging with the boys. Like complete waste of time, right? And it's like, and then I did that a couple times, literally only a couple times. Next time I went to the range, all the pistol bays were taken up. And I was like, what is this? Like, I can't go shoot. It was all like the matches, USPSA matches, and all the bays, the stages were. Talked to some people, and they're like, yeah, it's a match, yeah, it's this. I'm like, wait, I can compete with a handgun? Like, and this was me like coming off of playing like college sports. I was itching for something. And I was like, I'm still going to do that. I'm competitive. Shooting's fun. I think I'm good at it. Like, let's go do it. I didn't even know what practice score was. I just went on, like, because I was a member at that club, went to their calendar. It's like, oh, it's probably, the events are probably on the calendar. USPSA match at the end of next month. I'm like, perfect. I'm not going to shoot till then. I'll save up my ammo and I'll go shoot that match. Showed up, got my appendix reg on. I think I had like a taco pouch or something just like on my belt. The rest of my mags were in my pocket. I looked up the rules and it was like the max amount of stage could be was 32 rounds. So I said, I'll buy one extra mag. I'll have 4 10-round mags because I'm in mass. I'm in mass, so I only shoot 10-round mags. Don't
That should
count
be
my
fun.
videos. Yeah, just don't count my videos. But I was like, oh, I'll have 40 rounds. That's more than enough. I'll have 8 extra rounds at max. I'm good. I've never shot in steel plates at this point. Never shot in anything. I go up to sign in, and they're like, who are you? Would you sign in on practice for? I'm like, bro, I have no idea what that is. I have $25 cash. That's what it said on the website, and I want to shoot. And that's when I met Angel the first time. He's been my mentor like since. I've been hooked on it, but I can definitely see like where you're coming from, where it's hard to learn from the matches until you're in contention of winning. Because the only thing I learned was the perspective of it, and that there was other stuff to learn from there. As far as what I was doing, it was all above my head. I was like, no idea what's going on. I just know people are better, and I got a lot of work to do.
That's the important part, because I think too often, especially lately, on social media specifically, it's like, hey, go shoot a match, you'll learn a ton. And it's like, I mean, you'll learn a ton, but will the new guy learn a ton? Or will he just learn like, holy shit, this is really hard, but I'm not quite sure what I suck at yet. I just know that I suck.
Mm-hmm.
And granted, that might be a great learning point for him at that moment. I know it was for me.
Yeah.
But will you learn as much as the guy that is more in the know? I think you have to be a certain level of like shooter maturity to start like actually going to matches and learning from them.
Yeah.
In terms of like, how should this direct my training from here on out? Like, what should I do with the movement piece? What are my transitions? Like, what needs help and what doesn't, kind of thing.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
Which is why I don't tell people, like, I'm not one to tell people like, hey, just go shoot a match, you'll learn a ton. And it's like, I mean, maybe, but also maybe not.
Yeah, I mean that folds into the conversation of like, can you use local matches as practice? I mean, that's always like a hot topic people love to talk about, and I think you definitely can, but you have to understand what you're actually practicing, and you have to also be able to let go of the results. That you're probably not going to win the match if you're trying to use things as practice. Like for example, like if you got a major match coming up and there's a lot of unloaded starts, I'm just going to unload it start every single stage, no matter what. Like I'm practicing, results may suffer, or say, this is something you'll end up talking to Tom about when you take his class, but like the crash, that technique he likes to talk about. Like when I go to a match, like, all right, I'm going to practice the timing of my crash, or just because say there's 3 of them per stage, I'm going to practice this one thing. And maybe while I'm focusing on this thing, other things might fall off in the meantime. But that's the tough part is like, it's really hard to just say my results during this may suffer in the match and I may lose some points or may lose some stuff trying to either push things a little bit harder than they should so that way I can learn for maybe I need to dial it back a little bit, or like maybe I dialed it back way too far and now I'm just slow on every entry and exit. But if you don't like know those specific things like you're talking about, you can never use a match as practice unless you're doing basic things like I will unload start on every stage. Then it's like very obvious.
So it's interesting that you would use a match. And I mean, that just might have been an example for you, but like you would go to a match and say, hey, I'm going to unload start on everything. Because like for me, when I go to a match, I am just looking at what is my cold performance, what is my actual like execution at the moment. And I'm like, I'll be honest with you, like I've never gone to a match and been like, all right, I'm going to do this one thing and it possibly might make me suck and I'm going to lose. So like for me, I am always like, nope, we'll do the execution piece and you will shoot as many alphas as you can as fast as you possibly can. And so for me, it's like, it's testing my execution at the time.
Yeah, no,
with pressure because like I'm shooting with the homeboys. They're all watching me. They're all heckling me. We heckle each other.
Right.
Like I know people are going to look it up on practice score. So there's like, that's pressure.
Yeah.
Right. So like for me, it's like, that's the stuff that I go to a match for is like the pressure of it.
Yeah.
And so like, I'll even treat a local like it's nationals. Like I want to win.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. I mean, the only difference I'd say is, well, how many matches are you shooting per month? I'll ask.
Dude, I shot 5 last year.
So my point is, I'm on the range twice a week in training, and I'll set up full stages. I'm also shooting a match a week. So like for me, those practice matches I'll set up on my own. I'll do a lot of that practice stuff. Or like that one match a week, like I can practice execution on this, or I can practice like one little thing, like maybe my winning like I like to call like my winning process or my stage planning or something like that. Like I can practice that just because the volume of matches I'm shooting, like I can afford to, not because like I do 100% agree with you. Like practicing your execution is really hard to do unless you're like doing a lot of randomized training or you're shooting matches with pressure. Like those are probably the only two ways to truly do it. Because if you're not practicing execution, if you're doing rep after rep, in my opinion.
Nope.
So it's either you're doing large randomized training and it's different every single time, or you're shooting a match and you have some pressure involved. Those are, in my opinion, the only two ways. But if I'm shooting stages 3 times a week, or 2 times a week, like I'll just say screw the results on this one. I'm gonna practice this one thing all day. I might have to suck up the ego a little bit and know people may look at it and be like, dude, how did you lose against this guy? And it's like, me personally, my goals are like I want to do really well at majors. I mean, it's something I've always wanted to do, and if there's like little skills that are holding me back from either my time or my points on the move or something like that, I'm just gonna be like, all right, this match, I'm shooting stages 3 times a week today. Like I'm gonna work this in my match today. Doesn't always win me matches, but at the large goal of like I want to win majors, I have to fix these things, or I'm never gonna beat people like Max Michel because I'm in the same region as Max and Mason Lane and all those guys. Like I shoot in the same division as them. Like if I want to win, I got to beat those guys. Those guys have been shooting for a lot longer than me, professional shooters in my opinion, and really polished. Like if I have skills lacking, like I have to dedicate the time. Like I have to, even if it's on match day or if it's on a practice stage I set up. Can you practice the draw at a match? Hell no. Like, can you practice reloads? Yeah, you probably can, but like, you're only getting one draw per match. So,
Yeah, that's what I mean. So like in practice for me, like that's when I'm gonna go do that stuff. It's
mhm,
either like on the range at my house or in dry fire. Um, and I think there's a lot to be said. Like you touched on it there, like setting up stages in your practice. That's usually the first thing that I do every single time I go shoot.
mhm,
I'll shoot 4 or 5 times a week, and I will set up a stage, and then I'll shoot it maybe 3 to 4 different ways, give myself one shot. But a lot of the time, what I'll do with this, I started doing this more and more when I after I trained with Mason last time, was like he would just add little things into the starting position. It's like, see, that's that's very different, isn't it? And it's like, yep, it is. And
mhm.
so, like to your point, I think it's really good. Like, hey, I'm gonna do an unloaded start or a barrel start, or I'm gonna put a stack of my magazines on that barrel, like way over there, and then the gun is gonna be on that barrel way over there. I'm gonna start in the middle, like grab the mags, load them onto the belt. And a lot of the time, I think that changes things in terms of the shooting piece, especially if you think like, oh God, that was really slow. Like usually what people start doing when they're like unloaded start and they're going really slow, it's like then they just start like trying to speed up the shooting stuff. And it's like, well, that's not good either. So it's interesting, adding those things in your training to see where it will mess you up. I believe Mason calls it like stacking skills, if I'm not mistaken, or stacking layers. Um, but yeah, I've started adding a bunch of that stuff into my training as well.
Yeah. So kind of touch on matches too. How do you, because I know you've talked before about like using matches to structure your training. Um, with only shooting 5 matches a year, how do you personally, like, what are you personally working on? How do you structure your training, like, without shooting matches?
Yep. So like last year I shot 5. The year before, if I'm not mistaken, someone's gonna check if I say this, but like I'm all pretty sure I shot more than 5. Last year, like the classes and stuff were super busy, and this year it's like even busier. So every time I go to a match, I treat it like a huge deal.
Mm-hmm.
Heart of hearts, like I am treating this like this is a huge deal to me, and like I am trying to win CO. Like if I go, I want to win CO. Like that's my goal. And so, leading up to the match, like I'll put pressure on myself, like, hey, dummy, like stop doing the stupid stuff. Like, and then going to the match, I try not to have either ego involved or try not perspective or try to look at my own shooting from a perspective of like someone else looking in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, you did this, you did that, this is what needs work, and that needs work. I'm not really looking for any sort of positives, if that makes sense. I
Yeah.
know there's like a lot of stuff online, like there's a whole group that's like, look at the positive side of things, and it's like that's
Those people aren't reality, to be
that's
honest. I
not
mean,
for me, bro.
yeah, and I think you're going to end up loving Tom's class because of that. But yeah, it's only looking at the positives is so unrealistic. You missed all the things you have to get better at. I mean,
And I think it can artificially puff you up if you're not doing so hot. It's like, oh, I drew the gun really quickly. It's like, cool. What needs work? You know what I mean? Like, so for me, it's like I try to look at it from someone else's perspective watching me. Like what needs work in this one thing? And then from there, it's like I would just go home and set up like scenarios that might possibly bring out that crappy behavior or crappy tendency that I had at the match. And I'll just start hammering on that stuff in both live fire and in dry fire.
do you videotape a lot, like when you go shoot matches, like third person, first person, all that stuff to review?
I do now. I didn't used to, just because like every time I load and make ready, I hear like a cell phone, like cell phones, boop, boop.
Yeah.
Like if I shoot a local, I'll hear it and I'm like, it just adds pressure, right?
Yeah.
Now it's like the pressure of that one thing doesn't really bother me a ton. So like,
Good.
yeah, sure, I'll video it. Um, and like I used to video, this is probably good for people to hear. Like I used to video everything, send it to PSTG. Like if people aren't on PSTG sending match footage, like I think you are seriously missing out, because you could send an entire match and have one of three of those guys
I didn't even know you
basically
could do
go over
that.
your entire match.
That's pretty
Yeah, dude.
cool.
Yeah, man. You
Huh.
can send all the match footage from a phone or a GoPro. Like you could send it from different angles and all of that stuff. They'll look at it. And I mean, it's dudes that do this all day long, like looking at that stuff all day long. So it's very, very educational. So
Yeah, I mean, those guys are some of the
quick plug for those guys.
yeah, those guys are some of the best in the world as far as coaching and shooting goes. I mean, that's what they do.
I agree.
Um,
Yep.
I haven't gotten. There was a time we were trying to get those dudes down to Granby, but I don't think it. For some reason, they're booking out like years. Like,
Well, they were supposed to, but there's a story behind that. I'll let Tyler tell you.
okay, all right, yeah, I believe you. I really do believe you. There's always a story, something that's going on there, but that's not ironic or out of place. So as far as I know, we talked about shooting matches a little bit. I know you shot nationals last year, and that was your first major match.
First major, yep.
That's wild. That's wild that you. That's good though. I mean, I haven't shot nationals yet, but so as far as like your major matches this year, do you plan on shooting any? You plan on going back to nationals? Like, what's your kind of plan with that?
So I wanted to go to nationals this year. Like I have a spot on the howitzer squad, but before like the dates for nationals came out, I had a class scheduled with Hot Munitions, so they were going to do like a class for all their sponsored shooters. Like, hey, this is next weekend, and it was that weekend, and they just recently canceled that class.
So now you can go
because they sell ammo, not training. So the squad that I have had a spot in is now gone.
huh?
So
It's cool.
it's full. Yeah.
Yeah. You'll just have to bribe someone to get in.
That's pretty much it, dude. Like I'm trained up. I could go, and like I would want to go because of how much I learned last year. Like with it not only being the first major, but like my first 3-day match, it was massively eye-opening to me.
Dude, that's a huge jump. Like a huge jump. Like doing a normal major is a huge jump from a local, right? Like everyone kind of understands that.
Sure.
But nationals is a whole nother animal. Like that's 3 days. Every single top shooter in the country, or sometimes the world, if he decides to show up, goes to shoot that match. So it's like it's a whole different level of how you have to compete, how you have to perform. Like it brings a whole new level of consistency. Like performing at 4 matches is one thing. Performing at 12 matches is another thing. Now do 30 over 3 days. That's like it's a whole nother ball game that I think.
Yep.
I think a lot of people don't. I respect it. I haven't done it yet. I plan on shooting nationals next year, but it's a perspective a lot of people don't really understand until you do it. I think. Like I said, I haven't done it yet, but the people I've talked to, it's because I've talked to like a lot of top shooters at this point, and everyone says the same thing. Generally, it's like the A-class guys and the GM guys, the level of skill they have is very negligible as far as the difference. But
there's not any like your A-class, yeah, or M.
I'm 84.7%, so A-class.
You're basically an M. Dude, there's nothing that you can't do that other guys do in terms of shooting and transitions and movement.
Yeah,
it's just a level of consistency at that speed over time.
That's exactly what
more and more and more.
Yep. I can perform at my 100%, technically 84.7% of the time.
Sure.
Those guys can perform at 100%, 95% of the time on their worst day.
Yeah.
So technically, that's what the numbers mean in theory, and like, and then from there, there's the 1%ers. Like, there's a lot of GMs. But the guys that can go to any match in the world, and still perform at 95% above, no matter who shows up, those are like they should have like a special card or something
That
like that.
so you said you haven't gone to nationals yet?
Not yet. Yeah, I plan on
Okay.
going next year.
The guys that you're talking about is a super squad.
Yeah.
So what you'll notice, like you'll watch other GMs shoot stages, like not trying to downplay them, like they're very, very good, right? Like you'll watch them and you'll be like, damn, that was really good. And then you'll go watch the super squad and be like, okay, that's very fucking different
Yeah.
than everything else that I've been watching.
There's levels to it for sure.
Dude, I mean, when you watch them put 2 to 3 seconds on another really good GM, or what you perceive to be a really good GM, like it's very, very different, dude. Watching those cats shoot was like very eye-opening to me.
Yeah, I mean, even having Tom Castro down and like we had a whole bay set up a stage, and obviously we all shot it. And watching him shoot, I was like, I've seen a lot of people shoot. Like the time you got, I don't understand. Like he made us understand, right? Like he did a good job of coaching, so we understood how he did it, and we implemented it and cut down a ton of time on our stages. But like he can do that. Like he's competing at the World Shoot in a couple 4 days. Like that
Tom
is a
very,
different
very
level. He's going to be able to perform that way all day long, no matter how many days there is. And like I haven't seen Max Michelle shoot, but I've shot against him a handful of times, and like that's another dude where it's like there are some levels to this. Same with Mason. Like Mason at Area 7 last year shot production, right? I shot carry optics. I think he beat me by like 13%, 15%, something like that, shooting production. Like,
and it was a slow day for him.
Probably. And like
no offense to you.
None taken. But like people don't understand like that. Like he's shooting an iron sights stock gun with 15 round magazines. And I'm still shooting a SIG 320, but tricked out from gray guns with 25 rounds in the gun. Like I should, in theory, have the advantage, but in reality, the thing people don't understand is like the more perspective you gain in this sport, the more you realize that little letter next to people's name means literally nothing. And the type of guns they use mean literally nothing.
For sure.
It's a humbling experience because like you go to
especially
local
at that level, dude.
Yeah.
Especially at that level.
Yeah, and you'll go to local matches or like even like a lot of the people like I'll teach. Everyone wants to talk about guns. Like, oh, if I had this gun, like I'd be able to do that. Or if I had, whatever, fill in the blank. In reality, I'm thinking to myself every time is like, you're missing the picture. Like that stuff you're thinking of matters zero. The only time, and I've seen it happen twice, the only time where the gear really matters is if like, for example, this actually I've seen twice. You've probably seen it as well. Like a dude with a gun that just doesn't work for him. Like he's a big dude with big hands and has like a subcompact gun, and his hand literally wraps around the grip, and you're telling him like we're talking grip. It's like, all right, you need to make contact and friction with the frame of the pistol to be able to actually change your pressures and change things downrange and how your gun's reacting. If you literally cannot put your support hand on the frame of the pistol, like it's gear. Like at that point, like we can't even talk about a lot of things because your gear you will never make it work with that gun for you.
It's not fit to them.
Right. I've also seen it with like women if they have really long nails and they go to wrap around. It also does the same thing. It covers that part of their gun. I've only seen that once. But other than that, I promise you the gear is not holding you back unless it's like not reliable. But
no, and dude, what's holding them back is a lack of the hard skills being at a level that is subconscious, and lack of understanding in terms of what fast actually is and how it should or shouldn't feel while you're trying to be at like your quote unquote execution type of level at a match.
Yeah, I mean, that just comes down to like so many people talk about in training, like feeling fast and being fast is so different. Like you'll tell people like, all right, let's go fast here, let's do this, and it's like you can pull the trigger as fast as you want, but the guys that are the best shooter in the world, like Eric, right? Like that dude will tell you this part is slow. Everything else has to be really fast. His flow is still insanely fast. I'll say that. But like the way you make up time is not by pulling the trigger faster most of the time,
Nope.
unless you're like, splitting the gun at 50s every single target, and it's different. But even then, you can cut like the majority of your time, correct me if I'm wrong, comes from your movement and your transitions. Everything else,
1,000%.
everything else is so far under that it's almost you don't even really talk about it, unless it's like your draws at 3 seconds or like your reloads are at like 5 seconds, like unless there's abnormal statistics, but your movement and your transitions are like, it's not even close.
Well, and like the transition piece, like that's something that almost everyone can go work on. The movement stuff, I think that can be a little bit more complicated in terms of like explanation. But like transitions in and of themselves, like if you think about like a 30-round course of fire and every single transition, just as an example, you are sub 0.3 seconds. And the next guy right around 0.5, 0.6. Like, dude,
that's a ton of time.
That's a massive, dude, that's seconds on the end of the stage.
That's just one stage too. Now say we're shooting nationals. Say we're shooting nationals
20
against each other.
stages.
30 stages.
Now we're like minutes in front of you just based on transitions. So I would fully agree with you that like the transition piece is definitely where people need to start.
Yeah. And a big thing for me too is, so this is something I know you and Tom will get into quite a bit. You and Tom will get into quite a bit, I'm sure. But the biggest thing I took away from his class as far as movement was like the shot to shot versus spot to spot shooting. Because like, especially I'm talking about in a stage, right? As far as the sport goes. And what I always used to do is like, all right, this target right here in this array, that's going to be my entry target. This target in this array is going to be my exit target. I got that order figured out. Now I'm just going to do that for 3-4 positions, whatever the stage is. And I was missing like the whole movement aspect of it, right? Like, because you're coming in on one target and then you're still standing there and shooting the rest. And then say I'm taking one step off of the exit target. I essentially shot that whole thing standing still, right? Like maybe I shot the first target with 2 steps coming in. Maybe I shot the last target with 1 step moving out, but I'm still running for 2-3 seconds, stopping, shooting, running out 2-3 seconds, stop, shooting. And if we play a game of how many points per second you can get, and every time you're getting 0 per second, now my hit factor is tanking. Where a big thing we learned, and I'm starting to implement a lot in my stages, is you notice it a lot more like if you're filming first person. It's really hard to tell on the third person unless you have a really good eye for it. But most of the time, especially when there's walls in the stage, a target becomes available first. Very rarely is it ever everything is available at the same time unless it's your start position. So a big thing like I've been doing is shooting like actually into each position. So say like you have a spot where it's a 4-second run, right? Whatever, it takes you that long. But a second or 2 seconds into that run, you can see the half of the A zone of the first target. Like you should be shooting that coming in, and then as aiming over to the next target through the wall, as that next target comes in, you shoot that. So say it's like 4 targets. You've shot 3 already by the time you've come to the position. You shoot only 1. So the biggest difference is where someone ran for the extra 2 seconds and shot everything. I shot during those 2 seconds in that position. I'm only shooting 1 target where that person's shooting 4 in that position. And the amount of, I don't know if I explained that very well, but the amount of,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
The amount of time I'm saving on each position, and you're doing it slow. Like, I don't want to say slow, but a
It's
lot of times it's
controlled.
like,
It's more
yes,
controlled, and therefore it will end up being faster, at least at a specific level.
right. I mean, you have to be able to shoot on the move. If you're not shooting on the move the whole time, then you're totally wasting your time. But when you're trying to like really compete, if you're like, and that's what comes back to like that, the phrase I was saying, shot to shot, right? Because I'm not going from the spot. Like a lot of people stage plan, you've probably heard of this a million times. They're like, all right, from this position, I can shoot these targets. I'm going to exit on this one. Then from this position over here, I can see these targets. They're not thinking like, all right, I'm going to shoot these. And then when can I first possibly see my next closest target? That, okay, I'm going to start
Yeah.
shooting here. And I'm running in to exactly where I need to see the last target. If I don't need to get there, I'm not shooting it. So
Yeah.
you're
So
saving like it's not even that you're still saving time, but the biggest difference is I'm shooting and getting points during that time, where
yeah.
someone else isn't. That's the huge difference of it.
So a couple things I got on that. So I first learned that when I took the first JJ class I ever took, and he calls it blending positions together.
Yep.
So it's like using targets to put you in a better position to shoot another array. So you're basically blending different arrays together by using specific targets. And like that to me, at the time, I was like, I used to place, you know, maybe like 11th, 12th, my local. And when I say local, it's like this isn't your average local. Like the heat shows up to this one pretty much every single time. So I went from placing like 10th, 11th place to like always top 5 at this,
Mm-hmm.
just because of like the amount of time that cut off and the way that I try to conceptualize like blending positions. If I can, if there's a target that I'm coming in on, say I'm entering in on an open target, or make it a partial let, I don't know, 7 yards, whatever. I want to be done with that target by the time another one appears.
Exactly.
And if I'm running into a position, shooting that target, and there's 3 other ones that are like looking at me ready to be
You're
shot,
late.
like I am shooting that one target way too freaking late.
Yeah.
I think the other thing that comes into this though, dude, is, and you'll see it when you go to nationals and watch the super squad. Everyone will shoot this type of stuff differently.
Mm-hmm.
Like I asked Lane Grease at nationals. A super nice guy, by the way. You should ask, like, totally shoot the shit with Lane on shooting. Like he's an animal.
Yeah.
I
I'll
was
have to
like,
reach out.
what's your game plan? He's like, I'm gonna run to a spot and shoot everything really fast and run to another spot. And I'm like, what? Are you fucking with me right now? And he's like, nope, that's what I'm gonna do.
Huh.
And I mean, he's on super squad, like podium level, competitor, and it's like, I think it comes to a point where it's like people do things that make them feel comfortable,
Mm.
make themselves feel comfortable, and everyone is going to be different. And like you said before, like you have to be comfortable shooting targets on the move, and if you're not, well,
None of it matters.
yeah, then maybe just run to the spot and transition as fast as you possibly can and score as many points as you possibly can, in the amount of, like, watching Eric Raffel at nationals. Dude, that's what the majority of what I saw Eric do was like run to a spot, shoot everything really, really fast, run to another spot, shoot everything really, really fast. It was pretty wild. It was totally not what I thought I was going to see.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait to see it. A lot of those guys shoot, and the more I talk to people, the more I realize everyone has different opinions and techniques and everything. Like
Mm-hmm.
literally nobody's the same unless they're purposely copying someone.
Nope.
Like that's how it goes. Um, but it definitely it's interesting to see and learn from everyone's differences because then you can kind of make your own style in a way. Um, I've also realized a lot of people like, and I don't know these guys personally, but a lot of people like to say like, I don't like to shoot on the move for these, or like to shoot on these, or blend targets. And then you watch them shoot, and you're like, dude, you totally are. You know what I mean? Like, don't even sell me on that. Like, you're trying to say like, oh, I'm gonna just shoot this like this, and then they do it like, dude, you just shot that whole thing on the move. Like, don't even tell me
Yeah.
like you didn't. Because I know
Well,
some
that's
really good
common, man.
shooters that have no idea what they do. They just do it, and they're really good at it. And when you ask them to explain it, they're like, I don't know, I just ran there, shot those, ran over there, shot those, and you're like, are you messing with me? But they like, not to their fault. They don't want to be instructors or anything like that. They don't care about how they articulate it, but they
Yeah.
just don't know.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
so back to teaching a little bit. I'm kind of like new into the coaching world. What are like a lot of the most common mistakes you see from your students? Like, do you see like a lot of the same students doing the same things, like no matter where you go through the country, or does it kind of change up where you are?
No, it's mostly the same stuff. It's mostly marksmanship issues like pushing on the gun, or visual issues where they're like watching the dot like bounce up and down, things like that, instead of where they're actually trying to place bullets.
Mm-hmm.
Things like that. I think it's pretty common, like pretty similar mistakes, I would say. And same thing is going to go for rifle, except worse, in my opinion. I think people mess that up
Well, you're
more
sucked
than they do
into it a
pistol.
lot more. Like a pistol's out there. Like at least where I'm trying to think and
Yeah,
conceptualize in my head, like the optic is just it's in your face more. You less
I
of
agree.
your peripheral vision you can use.
Well, yeah, and like the biggest mistakes that people make with the rifle is they try to fight it. And since there's like four different places, like cheek, shoulder, grip, support hand, like there's four different places that, I can put pressure onto this thing and change pressure onto this thing, whether I'm lifting or pushing. Like it's just more shit to keep track of. And so what I noticed specifically with the rifle is like people try to fight with it, and it's like, dude, do less. I promise you, if you just do less, it will be much, much easier. And the second they just like relax and just keep consistent pressure and give the rifle like a very, very consistent place to go, it's like, oh, that's way better. And it's like,
Yeah.
yes,
Well, a
stop
lot of
fighting
people don't realize how fast the gun cycles. Any gun.
and that's the other thing. It's like
You can't
the
react
rifle,
faster than the gun cycles. You can't. So just
no,
let it do its
and
thing.
that's
It's gonna cycle. Just be ready for it. That's all you can do.
for sure. And I think the hardest thing about rifles specifically is, since you can shoot it like significantly more aggressive than you can a pistol at further distances, your eyes need to be
Yeah.
way faster with a rifle than they do a pistol. Like the rifle requires your eyes to move and like race from target to target. What I've like, dude, you'll hear people say all the time, like, hey, pistol makes the rifle really like good pistol shooting makes the rifle really good. I almost like I agree, and I know where they're coming from, but I almost think the opposite,
Hmm. What do you
especially
mean?
in terms of the visual piece. It's the opposite. The rifle goes way faster than the pistol. And if you get behind with the rifle, like you will see mistakes tenfold. Like you'll start dragging on, dragging off, things like that. If we're talking about target transitions, like the speed at which your eyes need to move with the rifle is way faster.
Yeah, I can see that. I don't shoot rifle as much, but when I do, like now that you're saying that, I do notice that a lot because I'll shoot super sloppy with a rifle at distance. Like I can let that thing rip up
Mm-hmm.
close, but as anyone should, like as you put that out at distance, that's when you see your issues, and I can definitely tell I need to shoot and train with it more. But I can definitely see where you're coming from that, just because you can shoot it faster, which means everything else you're doing
Mm-hmm.
has to be faster because you have to be ready for the gun. Like it,
For
I
sure.
know a pistol cycles in like 0.08 or something crazy fast, or even less than that. But when you're splitting the rifle like drastically faster, and I'm sure it's cycling faster or the same, it's also different too because with a pistol you can move your whole head most of the time too. Like at least how I like to
Mm-hmm.
transition, it's not just my eyes.
The other
Like
thing.
I can whip my
Yeah.
whole head over there, and that's how like I prefer to do most of my transitions. But with a rifle, like you don't want to break that connection a lot of times. Like
Mm-mm.
sometimes you have to, right? But
Sometimes you have to. Yeah.
most of the time, like if say with a pistol, like I don't want to bring this thing in. Like if there's targets, I have to keep it out to shoot. With a rifle, like breaking just your cheek weld is essentially breaking your grip with a pistol.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing.
I
So
agree.
you have to keep it on there. So you have to move your eyes much faster because you can't just move your head and use bigger muscles.
Well, I think the biggest thing too, the biggest difference is like the rifle doesn't do what a pistol does in terms of recoil pattern. Like pistol, this, right? Rifle, this.
Mm,
Like you press the trigger fast and it's like it doesn't really go anywhere if you have a good mount. Like when I mount the gun, it just basically at 50 yards, like the dot might track to the top of the alpha, maybe halfway up the alpha. It's not really going anywhere. And
right.
so it's like, man, you need to stay visually connected and really, really fast with your eyes to make that actually happen at speed, at specific distances. I will say this too. I think like shooting at targets inside of 20 with a rifle, like people will say, it's really easy. I
You
would
got to go
somewhat,
faster. Like it's only easy because you're not pushing yourself to where it should
well,
be hard.
yeah, you have to go fast, but I would somewhat disagree because it's like, well, if you're looking for the correct things, like if I'm at 10 yards with a rifle, say I'm going to shoot El Prez as an example with a rifle, like I'm looking for groups like the size of a golf ball, right? If
Mm,
it's just all over the alpha, it's like, okay, that really fucking sucks because that's what translates to like deltas and mics at distance. But if you're inside of 20, like you're just looking for tighter accuracy. It's like when you shoot doubles.
mm-hmm.
Like when you shoot doubles with a pistol at 5 yards, it needs to be a golf ball size.
Yeah, it's got to be on pacer at least.
And if it isn't, you messed up.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I've never really thought of it that way. I always just thought like if I'm running a rifle and it's within 25 yards, then you'd be pulling the trigger as fast as I can and hope the alphas are there. But like I said, I don't
Yeah.
train rifle like ever.
Yeah.
I have it. I can shoot it. I'll shoot a PCSL match like a handful times a year. I'll dry fire with it. But like I don't live fire it enough, and that's where you really need to learn like the mount.
Yeah.
Is you got to shoot rounds to learn it. At least learn your pressures. Then once you figure out the pressures that work, then you can replicate them in dry fire and keep them going.
Mm-hmm.
But until you learn what it should be in live fire, you can never practice in dry.
Right.
So that's the tough part.
Right.
Same thing. Like a lot of people are like, because I dry fire a lot. And a lot of people are like, oh, you can't train grip in dry fire, can't train accuracy in dry fire, which I agree is total BS. Because can you initially train it? Probably not.
No.
You have to learn.
Not if you don't know what you're looking for.
Right. But once you find out your pressures and what you need, trigger control at speed, doubles on demand, even do like build drills, triples, whatever, like not even from the draw. Just gun out and visually seeing what your dot does and even the tiny wiggle, like you can mitigate that with your pressures. And that tiny wiggle, if you're shooting a 30-yard partial, like congratulations, you just shot a no shooter, mic'd it just off a tiny wiggle.
For sure. For sure.
A lot, like I've talked to a lot of people and they're like, it's barely moving when you do it. And you're like, what's barely moving mean? Because barely moving might be okay at 5 yards, but if like, was it 2 years ago, I think it was my first major, shot New Hampshire State, and it was a partial no shoot, or it was like a hard cover. It was a partial target, swinger at 30 yards. If your gun is moving at all, or you don't have the timing down to it, one, you'll never shoot alphas.
No.
Never. Obviously, that's an extreme example, but like that's how you practice it. You just get that thing to stay very still. It's very hard. So like you always have work to do. And then like I've seen you make videos on it before, but like layering that too. Like maybe you're running into a port and then you just practice trigger control at speed in the port.
Yep.
Or maybe you do it off a draw. Or like what I've been doing a little bit is off a reload. So I'll reload, come back out, then do trigger control at speed from the reload to make sure like my grip is after a reload.
It's awesome.
So you can always vary it. And then, for example, the accuracy part, people are like, I always tell people like those laser systems in your gun are so worthless. Um,
Yeah.
but, and they're like, oh, how can I practice accuracy, or how can I practice shot calling? It's easy. As long as your gun's zeroed, where the dot is your bullet should go. So if your dot's flickering, then that's where your round went. Obviously, you don't have the recoil, but you should know, like, when your trigger breaks, where the dot is, that's where your round went, as long as your gun's
Yep.
zero. So you're being conscious of, what your grip is doing, what your sights are doing. That's how you figure out your accuracy. You have to be aware of it, but also not get in the habit of staring at your dot, and also not getting that in the habit of, I'm just going to occlude my dot 100% of the time and think, since it's occluded, I'm target focused, which is,
That's a massive misconception.
yeah. I mean, I fell for it for a while. I'll still throw it on from time to time, but the more I throw it on, the more I realize it does the same thing as throwing that black paster in the middle of your target. It's good for a really short term, but in the long scale, it's a crutch.
Well, it all it does is punish you for staring at it.
Right.
That's it. It just makes you more. It's easier to be aware of it when you stare at it.
Mm-hmm.
Easier to be aware of you staring at it when you actually do so. It's not going to keep you from staring at it.
Right.
But if you allow it to do its job as a training tool, it's like, yeah, you're going to get punished every time you stare at that thing. And I think that is really, really good.
Yeah.
It's like, for me personally, if I catch myself staring at a dot, or maybe I have a really bad range session where I'm like, I am just staring at that thing. I can't not do it. And it's like, I will just leave it occluded for a couple
Yeah.
weeks. When I first started to occlude it, I left it occluded for like 6 months. And when I took it off, it was like, oh, that looks the same. I look down there at dots in the background. Now that I know what that's supposed to look like, I really don't need it to stay occluded anymore.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I just use it from like time to time.
I think that's the best way to do it. It's a training
Yep.
tool, and a crutch at times, but it's not like, you can't throw that on and just be like, it's occluded, my problems are fixed. It's like, no, it's going to teach you some lessons. Take the lessons that you learned from them, and now take the tape off and apply it. Like, now you still have to be target focused, because I used to run it for like half the year, right? Like, kind of like you said, like months at a time.
Yeah.
And the reason I stopped and only use it for like training, I'll never use that in match again, is because a lot of times in matches, like, if I'm on a weird lean or if I'm in a tight port, now you're not going to be able to see anything. Now you can literally not see anything. Like, if I'm on a hard lean coming out and my strong eye is covered, by a barrel or something like that, and I have to shoot the hard lean, you cannot see through your optic if it's occluded. Like, you can't.
Right. Well, and what'll happen specifically for like a right-handed shooter on a left lean, and there's a barrel there or some sort of hard cover. If you lean around it with an occluded optic, what you'll notice is, like, you'll go, yep, dots on the freaking target, send it, and then you shoot the hard cover, and it's like, how the hell did that happen? Well, it's happening because your non-dominant eye is like, yes, I see the dot on that, and then the other eye is like, it's occluded. I'm trusting the other eye for the information.
Which is not how we shoot.
No.
Yeah. No. Everything is off there.
Use it as a training tool.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's it. So what are some things after nationals that you took with you personally? Because I'm assuming you're still structuring your training off nationals, since you haven't shot a lot of matches since then. There's probably a million things you'd want to talk about from it, but what'd you learn? How is that still applying in your training, if it is at all? I know it's been obviously a bit, but how are you using it to your advantage?
You got another 3 hours and go over all this. So I would say I'll talk about the things that people wouldn't expect me to say. At least I think. At the end of nationals, my quads and shit were completely done. Like, they were toast, dude. They were tired, and it was like, oh, this is like super bitch made. Like, I need to have way bigger freaking quads, dude. Like, this sucks.
Gotta be an
So
athlete.
yeah, dude, immediately went home, bought kettlebells, just literally walk around with kettlebells, just trying to make the quads stronger. Just so they can last, the 3 days of like essentially squatting.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I used to, my last job, I basically squatted for a living. So like, it wasn't anything new to me, but like something that I guess I didn't expect. Right at the end of the 3 days, like driving home, I was like, damn, dude, like I am freaking, my quads are smoked. And it's just like, all right, that won't happen again. I will make sure, like, that's easy. I can make sure that doesn't happen again.
Yeah, it's an effort thing and a know-how.
Yeah. You have to be, if you want to compete at a certain level, you kind of have to be not only athletic, but like you have to be strong
Mm-hmm.
and have some sort of stamina in
Absolutely.
terms of like how fit you are. Like you have to, like, I think the days of being a fat ass and winning, dude, that's fucking long gone, dude. Like you are not going to be fat and win. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree with you. I mean, I don't. I'm trying to think of the champions right now. I don't know if there's a morbidly obese champion ever.
Maybe in single stack, but not. And then it's
Not
like
any division that matters, I'll say.
not in CO or LO or open or PCC. So like since then, carry around kettlebells, lost 20 pounds. I'm like, I will never go back to looking like that ever again. So like that's one thing that I wanted to get out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that was the easiest part. The part that I've been working on the most since then, and I'm not so sure this will ever stop, is the game plan that you need for nationals is pretty damn different from the game plan that you could use at a local, even if it's a really stacked local.
How so?
Well, because it's never shot up until nationals, I never really shot a local thinking like, hey, just stick all of the points, time be damned. I don't care what the time is. I've always cared what the time was.
Yeah.
And at nationals, like that was one of the big mistakes that I made. Like I squatted with Isaac Lockwood,
Mm-hmm.
right? Awesome shooter. But like I'm watching him send like makeups at half the targets, and the time is still 3 seconds faster. And I'm like, okay, that has to be the time. So I'm like trying to hit that time, and it's like, dude, that's a massive mistake. Like you're playing someone else's game instead of playing your game.
You have to shoot at
So I
your
think,
skill level. Nobody gets better at match day.
yes. Well, I was thinking about it like, oh, just hit that time, and it's like, no. So by day 3, I want to say I called either Joel or Ben. I think it was Ben, and he was like, "That's really fucking dumb. Like, just shoot the freaking alphas. Time be damned." But it was like it was already day 3, and it was like it was
Yeah.
the ship had
It's in
sailed,
the
right?
bag by then.
Yeah. So like the strategy in which I shoot matches now is pretty different than what it was
Yeah.
before.
Yeah, I mean, we
And
play
I
a
think
game
that
of points per second. I mean, a lot of people forget
yes,
that in the large scheme of things as far as training goes, right? Because we obviously want to get faster. A lot of people forget, like, if you want to perform, you also have to get maximum points. And that means, like, especially in
yes,
minor, we can only risk, like, 3 Charlies on a 32 round
yep,
stage. Like, you can really only risk, like,
yes,
10% Charlies. Deltas, Mikes, no shoots are unacceptable. Like,
unacceptable.
unacceptable. Like,
Yep.
10% Charlies is, unless it's a low point stage, like those 0% Charlies. A
Yep.
lot of people forget that part. They're like, oh, I had 6 Charlies. That's not bad on a 32 round stage. And it's like, you lost a lot of points.
It's actually really bad.
Yeah, a lot
It's actually
of
really
points
bad.
there.
So, something that's interesting to me, like since then, this is the stuff that I've been working on, and I've shot a couple matches since nationals, and I've just entered into that match with that same mentality of like, you will shoot as many alphas as you like that. Like that is the goal. You will shoot alphas.
Yeah.
It's interesting to me that the times really haven't changed.
That's the best part. The only thing you can control is shooting alphas, right? Literally the
That's
only
it.
thing, everything else is like you can't, the targets are going to be where they are. You didn't put them there. Like the time is just going to be what it is because if you can't get the points, the time don't matter. Like
Exactly.
it's really like who can shoot the most alphas the fastest. And
Yep.
the first part of that is shooting alphas. And the time is just going to be what it is, and that's your current skill that you can shoot alphas at. And the best guys in the world can shoot that current skill all day long. And they don't try and
Yeah.
like make it faster or they don't try and like slow it down. They're just like, all I'm going to do is shoot alphas. The time's just going to be what it is. And at the end of the day, we'll see who did the best.
100%.
And that's like, I'm still trying to learn that because you go to a match and you're like, damn, that guy shot it in that time? All right, like I can't be slow. And then you look at it and you're like, why did I do that? Like I could have been 2 seconds behind and gotten more alphas and still beat him. Like
Yep.
a lot of people miss that part is like obviously it gets into the nerd stuff about the sport and what dropped points relate to in time, right? But a lot of times it's like you can be 2 seconds behind and still beat someone on a stage just because of
Yes.
they didn't get the points.
Dude,
Um,
I've done it.
yeah. So what other kind of lessons did you learn?
Exits. The way that I was exiting for nationals was just like straight up bitch made, man.
Do you think that was
I
more
thought,
like effort based? Do you think that was like I know you have like a really wide stance. I used to do the same thing, and it helps a lot for certain things. For me personally, I mean, I'm not going to speak on your technique, but I would start like super wide, and on my exits, I was losing a lot of time when I would use max effort because I would like, if these are my feet, I would like step
yep,
up and then step back down and then go. Like I'd almost do
yep,
like a false step, and
yep,
like movement comes down to efficiency, right? Like if it's the race to the last target, if every movement I'm doing isn't going in the direction of the last target of my stage plan, I'm losing time, even if it's tense, right?
sure.
I'm just curious to you, like, was it an effort thing? Like, did you change your technique from nationals? Like, how did that look for you?
It So to me, I was putting more effort into like, hey, come into that position really, really softly so you could shoot sooner, kind of like what we talked about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, like that's great, but like getting out of positions just was not maximum effort. And you'll see this when you watch the Super Squad dudes, man. Like gravel is flying when they move,
Yeah.
right? They exit out of a position, like shit is flying out. Like there's a fucking rooster tail in the back of these guys. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, like I am not doing that. Like I am not pushing maximum effort. And then when I did, it's like, all right, I don't have the conditioning there to be able to do that. So I would say like the maximum effort part specifically on exits has been a huge thing for me since then. Like even when I trained with Mason, like he caught me doing it a couple times. Like even if it's just short movement, this is what he was bringing to my attention. He's like, hey man, like I get it that it's short movement, but like you're not pushing to get there.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, let me like push. It's like, all right, that's what you need to do.
It's a game of temps. Like, once you get to a certain level, like, you're no longer cutting seconds off your time because it's impossible. Like Mason. Like, I've never trained with Mason. We've talked a couple times. You know, we're not very familiar with each other, but I guarantee in his training, he's not working to cut multiple seconds off his times. He's like, oh, I can shave a tenth. Perfect. I worked like 5 months or, well, you know, like an unreasonable amount of time. He's cutting like a few tenths off his time. Like, it's
Yeah. Well, yeah. There's a lot to unpack there. If you shot with him, you'd be like, holy shit.
shot against
I
him.
think
That's about it.
one of the things that I took away from shooting with him was like I was videoing him,
Mm.
specifically like the movement piece, and he would put maximum effort into an exit, and then entering into a position, it was like stomp a foot, like one step, and then he stopped, dude. Like there was no chopping, there was no
Yeah.
like nothing. It was like just haul ass and get there and start shooting.
Mm-hmm.
Basically a one-step entry, which was super duper impressive to me.
Yeah, that is a lot, because I mean that's stuff I'm working on. Like primarily in my training right now, I'm working on entries, exits, as far as like the crash technique that I just learned from Tom. And it's hard because like when you go from max sprint and like that change of pace to like now start rolling your feet and shooting into position, a lot of times the gun will go like this, and
Yep.
like you can drop so many points doing that.
Yeah.
It's tough controlling it, but that's the crash part that Tom will talk about. Is like this is essentially the crash and being able to like do it with the right timing, because it's very hard to get rid of it forever. I mean, it's going to be there. Like if we change our pace, like we're going to have movement. At least I do, unless there's some other random person in the world that can like stop it completely. It's just I've noticed so much of entries and exits is the timing of it and doing it like before you need to shoot.
Yeah. Well, I think like if you watch people go, okay, maybe they're like getting the gun up, coming into a position, and they're chopping maybe 4 or 5 steps. They're aiming at the target for 4 or 5 steps, and then they're shooting at maybe 30 split on the way in. Or you just haul ass to a spot, like stomp a foot, settle the gun for a tenth of a second, and start shooting. Like which one's going to be faster?
Yeah, the latter. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, it's awesome to watch. And like the more I realize like the timing of it and also like the athletic ability to be able to change your pace and be ready to shoot right away takes so much more practice than people think. Like a lot of people are like, my exits are good, my entries are good, just because you've solely been comfortable enough shooting and pulling the trigger while you're moving. When it's like, there is so much more, because you don't want to have to, at least I don't. I don't want to have to change my technique if that entry target, like you go shoot nationals, your entry target may be a 25-yard tox. Like the target you have to enter it on. Like your technique has to be able to work on a 5-yard open target and a 25-yard partial. At least for me, I don't want to have to change techniques and like, oh, it's this target, I'm going to do X, Y, Z thing. Like,
no,
I want it to work for whatever. And like, it's so much more than just being able to say, I'm comfortable doing this while my feet are moving, kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot more involved to it.
Yep. I agree.
Something I want to talk about with you, I know you've talked about it a ton before, like the difference between like the techniques of like crossing your feet versus not crossing your feet as far as entries, exits goes, moving on the stage. I'd love to get your opinion on it, just because like we've talked about before, you can talk to literally any person that holds a gun and everyone has something that works for them. Everyone has something that's like, this is what works for everyone and XYZ is wrong and this is right. But I'd love to get kind of your take on it and how it works for you.
The crossing the feet aspect?
Or not, whatever you do.
So I'm definitely a fan of crossing my feet. I'm a fan of crossing my feet for a couple reasons. I think the first one being like it quiets the gun down for me. A good example of this, like Billy and I taught a class together last year where like in the class we set up a little stage. The starting position was like there was a barrel stack and you had to like step into a position.
Mm-hmm.
He basically, it was stepping to the left. He stepped into the position with his left foot. I crossed my feet going in. And he was like, how are you settled? I'm like, dude, the gun settles when I do that. Like, I can move to where like the gun doesn't move when I do that. But if I step in with my lead foot, I see the gun bounce. It's like, nope, I don't want that. So I think that's like one of the reasons that I do it. The other reason is because a lot of the places that I go and like agencies, police agencies, federal agencies, military places that I go to, like those guys are going to cross their feet. They just are. And it's like, if I'm sitting there telling them like, hey, don't cross your feet, it's like, well, that's not applicable to the stuff that they're doing.
You have to think about too. You don't want to have to think about your feet when like human life is on the line.
No, and so like knowing my audience is a big part of the stuff that I put out, partly anyway. But um, I think the biggest point of contention with crossing the feet, and I want to say I've talked to Tom about this because I was totally misunderstanding what he was saying. He's like, "Don't cross your feet, don't cross your feet." And I'm like, "Is it the crossing the feet part, or is it turning your hips away from the target part?" Because turning the hips away from the target is one thing, crossing the feet
Right.
is another. Like when I cross my feet, like if I shoot a drill bar hop, great example, right? Some people are like, "Hey, that's really good." Some people are like, "Hey, it's really bad drill." I tend to like it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if you have like Shakira hips as you're moving across the stick and like completely turn away from the target, yes, you will inherently want to pull the gun off of the target as you're turning your hips. Like that would be bad.
Yeah.
That's disrespecting the target that you're shooting. But like when I cross my feet, I am very much able to keep my hips pointed at the target. And if they're not pointed at the target, they might be off by maybe like 10%. And to me, it's like, I'll take that because I don't see the gun doing this.
Right.
Like it just basically stays there as I'm moving. And to me, it's like, if you can keep the gun quiet, it's easier to keep a visual connection to the target as you're moving. And to me, that's like, it's one of the biggest things. You know, if you're going to shoot on the move or enter into a position, like you have to have a good visual connection to the place that you're trying to deliver bullets. And if the gun is doing this on the way in, it's really, really hard to look past that
Yeah.
and be like, yep, just wait for it to settle down, dummy, and like shoot it when it stops moving. Like I would rather just have it not move
Yeah.
and me be able to connect and shoot.
Well, that's the thing, like we talked about. Like you go shoot nationals, you'll see that 25-yard partial that you have to shoot first on. Like you're gonna
Yeah.
lose if you don't use that to shoot first. If you just run into position and shoot something easier, shoot that static, you will lose.
Yep.
And like you said, like if you're coming in and your dot's doing all this, it's not gonna work out. You cannot make that work. But I think that it comes into a lot of, I mean, there's just some random words, but like principles versus techniques.
Yeah.
Like the principles of entries is my dot needs to be stable, my gun needs to be up early enough, and my eyes need to be on the spot. And when I pull the trigger, I'm not disturbing my sights. And
Yes.
I have
I
to
agree.
use maximum effort and change my pace. Those are the principles of an entry, say an entry, right? The technique, how you get it, needs to support the principles. Like if what you do works for you and that supports the principles that you can go at max effort and achieve those things, those are just random things I'm thinking of as far as what makes a good entry, but then it works for you. If you're like, if I cross my feet, I can't make that happen. If I don't cross my feet, I can make it happen. Then guess what's good for you? Not crossing your feet, or vice versa.
For sure.
I think that like as far as the technique debate goes, a lot of people seem to forget that part, that the principles matter. Like as far as grip, like it needs to be durable. You have to have the same pressures the whole time, and ultimately like the gun needs to behave predictably, goes in the same direction every time, and you can pull the trigger as fast as you want without disturbing your sights. The technique, how you hold the gun, does not matter as long as those things are achieved. In my opinion.
I agree. I fully agree.
And like I feel like a lot of people either get married to a specific technique and are unwilling to either try different things or whatever. Especially I see this with teaching, is like the biggest difference between a good instructor or a coach is one that's gonna understand the principles and give you coaching advice if the principles are off, and not just say scrap everything you're doing, this is the technique that you have to do, because it may not work for that person, or it's such a drastic change that it's not reasonable to understand in a whole day.
Right.
In my opinion.
Now, like, is it reasonable to think that all we're going to teach in a class is principles? I think the answer to that is no.
Well, that doesn't make you unique. Why should I take your class? Right? Like that comes down to it. Like
there has to be some sort of technique.
Right. Well, that's why people take others' classes. Like I didn't know Tom before taking Tom's class. I wanted to take Tom's class because he has a very different technique. He's very good at what he does. He's a top 10 shooter in just about any division he wants to. And he has a very unique style, and he specializes in movement, I think. And I was like, I'm going to take his class because I think it differs from what I do, and I can learn a lot from it. Same thing like with fill in the blank instructor, as long as they know how to coach you, in my opinion. But I definitely agree with you there.
Yeah. Like, and that's part of the reason why I wanted to host Tom. So I'm like, I know that this is going to be a heavy on the technique side type of thing. And I'm like, that's actually very interesting to me. I already know the principles of it. Like, I don't need him to tell me. So to me, it's like, I think this would be a really good learning opportunity.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like we take a class to learn, right? Enhance our perspective and learn from that person. If everyone only taught the same principles, because generally the principles of a certain thing don't change, like they're the same. The only thing that changes is the technique. So if we want to learn from someone, like the principles are the same. We can literally look up or listen to someone talk about what the principles of X skill are. How to apply it comes down to the technique side.
Can you look it up though?
Probably not, but you can
Dude,
talk to someone.
there's so many that are just like, hey, I do this grip or do this entry. It's just like there's so many classes that are 1000% just based off of technique. And it's like I find that interesting, but to me it's like if I'm training a bunch of people, like I want to show them how to train and what to do when they leave here.
Yeah, that's
They
a good
need
point.
things to work towards. And so like, I don't find that to be very common, man. I've taken a shitload of classes from a bunch of different people,
Well,
and that is
maybe
not
I'm
something
very
that I've run
fortunate to
into a
be
bunch.
surrounded by the right people.
You are. You are.
I'm very grateful for my situation, but at times I do believe I'm insulated with good mentors and good people around me. But you probably are right. I see some stuff online, or I talk to some people about shooting, and I'm have to keep my mouth shut a lot of times. I'm like, you're missing it all.
Yeah,
Like there is no secret sauce, for example. But unless you understand the principles of it, how can you form a technique? Like you said, you can't have the technique first. The principles come
dude,
first. How you gonna do it? That's your technique.
for sure. Dude, like the biggest, I would say, like traveling the country, from what I see, the biggest offender is people dropping the dot from 12 o'clock. And
People
it's
do
just
that.
like, dude, all the time I see it. It's like the dot, it's pointed at the target, it's above the target, and then it's back down on the target. And it's just like, that is massively slow, man. And like you're waiting for that thing to drop in, and then you're literally visually connecting to the dot. Like it's actually really, really bad, the technique
Yeah.
that you're using. And it's like I know where that comes from, and I'm not trying to like pick on anyone, but like that to me is like one of the techniques that is very, very prevalent. And because it is a very technique based thing, they don't know what they're looking for and they don't know why they're doing it.
Well, like you
Other than
said,
the
that
fact they're
ignores
like,
the
that's how
principles.
I find my dot.
Yeah.
It lacks any principles in my opinion, because it's like it's not something that you would want to do forever. Like sure, could it help you find the dot right now if you can't find it and you don't have an index? Like yeah, maybe.
But even then, I
But
wouldn't even tell anyone to do that if they didn't have an index. I wouldn't even tell them to do that.
I would show them how to build an index. I wouldn't give them some sort of like gimmick technique to do it. But like it's very, very prevalent.
Huh. Yeah, I mean, little weird things like that. Like I said, I'm very insulated with good mentors, which is good. I'm going into my third year of ever holding a gun, so I'm very fortunate that I've
You're
had.
doing pretty good, my man.
Thank you, I appreciate it. But I'm very fortunate I've had good people around me, especially Angel. He's been mentoring me since quite literally like day one of showing up at a match. He was the first person I talked to. Walked in the bay, I was like, dude, I don't know where to go, what I'm talking about. This old guy in the hut that tried to sign me in is being an asshole to me. Where do I go? um, but yeah, there are some local dudes near us that I don't even know what they're teaching. I mean, I'm sure you've talked to Tyler about it. Just the most bizarre things that,
Oh, I've seen it. I've
yeah,
seen it.
yeah, I don't even know how to describe it, but
Well, it's like putting chest seals on a piece of brisket on the ground, and it's like, what is this?
yeah, I thought we're taking a
Like
shooting class.
like
Um,
people pay for this?
yeah, apparently they pay for exactly that in certain colored steel, I guess, with numbers on
Dude,
it. But I don't know. I would love to. I don't know if I'd actually love to have a conversation with those people, but it would be. I'd be really interested to see like why they do what they do when there's so much information out
it's
there.
it's not worth having that conversation because they are nowhere near the level of understanding that you are in terms of training. I've tried it several times, not just with those I know who we're talking about. Like I've had conversations with those guys. It doesn't go anywhere because it's just like they think that you're attacking them. It's like, no, I'm not. I'm just like we're having a conversation about training. And they won't keep up with it because training is not their jam, right?
Mm.
Like like putting a fucking chest seal on a piece of meat on the ground is their jam. Like that's like what the hell is even that, dude?
I
What
don't
is
even.
that?
I don't even know. I saw some of those videos where they're like popping smoke bombs in their classes, and all I could do is laugh. Uh,
This same guy, the same group they put out a video recently. It got sent to me probably 10 times with this guy talking about the quote unquote hop entry, like hopping into position. He's like, top shooters do this. And I'm like, no, they
wait,
don't.
what? The hop entry? I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, dude. So like he's talking about not crossing his feet and just like hopping into position, and he's doing this dry fire. It's it's
Oh my god.
it's the same group that's up there. I'm sure they're very nice guys, but
You know what I
dude,
really want to do?
turn the camera off, man. Like some of this stuff is like I'm embarrassed for you.
I really want to take a class.
I did the same thing, but then I would have to fly up there and do it.
Yeah, well, I could
I
drive.
don't think it would be appreciated either.
No, no, I've had someone that used to be affiliated with them that I shoot with, and I asked him, I'm like, should I do it? Like, should I just take a class? He's like, don't waste your time. Like, believe me, it's not going to go well. Like,
No,
don't do it. You're just going to waste your
no,
money,
man.
waste your time, and it's good. You're spin your wheels. It's going to go nowhere.
Well, and if you think about it logically, it's like at the end of the day, if you go there to bully them, you're just going to turn them more in the same exact shitty path that they're on.
I mean,
But
me, I didn't even want to go into bullet. I genuinely wanted to go in to understand, like, because that's what, especially in the area, a lot of people like that stuff. They love it, and I'm
you're,
like,
you're
what
nicer.
am I missing?
You're nicer than me.
Yeah.
There's not a level of understanding there, which is that's why it is the way it is. But I don't know, man. Like I would rather not even have the conversation and just like if they ever ask me something, me be nice and just try to recruit them
Yeah.
to our side.
I mean, that's the best way to do it. I will say, I mean, they're gonna probably, they're not gonna watch. But one of them
It's
is
fine.
shooting a
It's fine
match.
if they do.
Huh?
Yeah, it's fine if they do. Like
Yeah,
I'm not
I
trying
don't
to
care. But
force
one
them
of them
to. I
is
don't think
shooting a
either one.
match. One of them is
Yeah.
shooting a match I'm shooting soon. So I'm really, I think it's maybe his first. I don't know. I don't know. But that'll be interesting. Um,
Well, the one shoots matches pretty regularly, and he's talented.
is he?
Yes.
I don't know either of them. I don't pay a lot of I don't follow them or pay a lot of attention to what they do outside of the random videos that get sent to me.
Yeah.
But
Now
it
the
should be
the
interesting.
the younger guy that teaches their like shooting specific classes, like he's talented.
Oh, are you talking about I don't think he's with them anymore.
Oh,
Are you talking
well,
about
they're
when
really
there was
neither.
three of them?
Yes.
Yeah, he's not there. That's my friend that I was talking about that I shoot with. He's not there anymore. He doesn't affiliate.
Well, your friend is very talented, and he made a good decision. But now they really don't have anyone good.
Yes. So one of he is shooting it, but one of the other ones is shooting it.
Oh,
So
good
that's
for
why
him.
I'm like, I don't know if he's ever shot a match. I don't know him. Like, it'll just be interesting if it's his first one. Good for him.
It'll be eye-opening,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah, we'll have we got some heat coming to it. It should be fun. Um, but outside of that, you're coming to the area. You're coming to
And
Granby. When are you coming?
dude, my schedule is so like my wife will be like, "Hey, where are you going to be 3 weekends from now?" And I'm like, I have no idea where I'm going to be. Like,
Well,
I
I'll
would
ask you. You're
literally have
coming
to
to
look at my
Granby.
calendar.
You're coming to Granby at some point. I'm sure it'll be advertised after this.
I think
Um,
it's in September.
yeah, I think it's around the same time me and Rob are doing a class together. Um, at Fania. But what can an athlete or a student expect when they're signing up for your class? Like, why should somebody sign up for your class?
I hate that question, but um,
I'm a sales guy,
since
so I'm going to ask it like that.
I am not a very good salesman, and it makes me feel uncomfortable. But
All
um,
right, I'll rephrase it. How
so
about this? What can somebody get out of your class? Like, what can you teach? Like, what should they expect to learn?
so they're going to learn how to train specifically. The 2-day class that I'm teaching there is a pistol rifle. So we'll start off the day with marksmanship stuff, how to connect to the pistol, like all the principles and stuff of grip and vision. And then we'll explore a technique with that, or explore principles with that, set the pistol down, grab the rifle, and do the exact same thing, just at further distances with the rifle. And then from there, it's like the rest of the class is just all transitions. And then we end on a little bit of movement. Um, Simple movement. Like it's very, very heavy on like, hey, these are the principles, and this is how you would go about basically isolating these specific things in your training. The 1-day class I'm teaching there is the dynamic pistol class.
Mm-hmm.
We start that day off with a stage. You will shoot the stage 3 different ways. You get one shot at it. We're all going to watch you. We're going to score it, and I'm going to film it. Every time you shoot a stage, I'm going to film it. And the reason that I'm filming it is because after the class, you'll get 5 to 6 videos, which gives me anxiety because this is like 2 to 3 days of me like looking at videos, going through shit, and like on coach's eye. So like you'll get 5 to 6 coach's eye videos, and hopefully like a very, very specific training plan to help you out from there.
That's awesome.
After we start off the day with a stage, we go into very similar to like other classes that I do, like marksmanship stuff, but there is way more layers on top of it. Like we're not going to just stand there and bang on doubles. Like we might enter into a port and shoot doubles through a port, and then grab the port, move it back to like 25, or have like a 10-yard run, enter into the port, things like that. Maybe you step over a stick, or like whatever the case may be. Maybe you, like you were talking about, come off of a reload, shoot some doubles, things like that. Like there's way more layers onto this stuff. So it's not something that I would recommend a beginner take, just because of like the amount of difficulty that you'll find in this particular class. Transitions, like way, way wider transitions. So like you'll see it if you go, I'll set up what we just call like vanilla target transitions, where you'll have 4 different targets. Typically, they would be like somewhere in front of you in between like 7 and 20 yards, partials, open targets, and you would just transition through them. You'll still have 4 targets in this class, but in this one particular drill, like I'll take colored cones, and if you're standing at, say, an orange cone, then your last target will have an orange cone, and it might be like over there.
Mm.
So like wider transitions, things like that. There's just a lot more layers in this class than there would be in your typical like, pistol or rifle class that I teach.
Yeah, I like that. A lot of people, when they hear I'm having these conversations with people all the time, they hear, "Oh, it's pistol fundamentals class. Like I'm above that." And it's like, well, no, you're not. Nobody is. Nobody's ever above it. Because
Nope.
if you were, you'd probably be a lot better shooter than you currently are. And I'll tell you right now, even the guys that are the one percenters still work their fundamentals every day. Every day.
Just yeah, they're just stacking layers on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all
Um,
it is. It's like you're just stacking layers to see, like, all right, is this going to mess me up, or is that going to mess me up? And you're just like doing this just to basically be immune to any sort of thing that I can throw at you. Like, you're still going to execute at the pace that you want to do it.
yeah. How can people sign up for your classes? They DM you, you go to your website, they hit up class sponsor. How does that kind of work?
They can go to www.veloxtraininggroup.com and see all of the majority of the classes are on there. Some of my classes are on PSTG. The ones that I'm teaching with Joel Park or Ben are going to be on PSTG. So you can go either one of those websites. You'll find a class where I'm going to be. And then if you want to host, you could just get on my website and find the email, which is on it. It should be like the first thing that pops up, like, hey, email me. But that would be the easiest way to host me. And anyone can host.
Mm-hmm.
Even, like, hell, if Tyler can do it, anyone can do it, like,
I can't wait till he
literally,
listens to this. And yeah, Tyler
you just
doesn't
need to
have
be
the highest
breathing.
IQ. So believe me, if
Well, dude,
bald-headed Tyler can do it, anyone can.
judging by that guy's head, he should be super fucking smart.
It's all skull.
But,
It's all skull.
it's, I mean, the qualifications for host is breathing at this point. No, I'm kidding. All jokes aside,
I'm not.
to host is actually, it's actually really easy. It's like, you just need to, like, set up the range for me in terms of, like, tell the range, hey, we're going to be there. Let me know, like, what the range fee and all that shit is, and just make sure, like, there's targets, stands, sticks, pasters, staples, all of the shit that I cannot bring on a plane needs to be at the range.
That makes sense. Yeah, the normal stuff. Kind of in closing here, I'd love to shoot some majors with you. Are you going to any majors? I know we kind of talked about it a little bit, but are you going to any majors this year?
Probably not this year, man. Not in the cards for me.
Yeah, no, that's fair. All
Dude,
right.
I wish they would come out with the schedule like a year in advance.
Some matches, and I don't know about a year. Some matches are like they do give you months in advance, but I don't know if there's any that give you like a year.
I know. See, like, I'm currently scheduling next year, like, the teaching schedule right now.
Yeah, it's
tough.
like, and then you're just hoping.
I need to know. That's what I've been doing. I just hope.
Yeah. Do you do most of your classes on the weekends, or a lot of them during the week too?
The weekend, like, the open enrollment stuff is going to be on the weekends.
Contract stuff is probably during the week.
The contract stuff is during the week. Yep.
Yeah, because some matches you can shoot them on like a Thursday, but
yeah,
if you're doing contract work during the week, then and you also gotta have time for your family.
That's it.
Can't leave them high and dry. Yeah.
Yeah, I got 2 little kids, man. Like,
that's the priority.
11 and 6.
That's the priority that people on the internet seem to forget. But
well, if you're a college student, it's really easy to just go shoot everything that you want to do if you just live at home with a cat, So,
well, I don't live at home with a cat, but I like to shoot a lot. So
I wasn't talking about you, but
no, I figured you weren't. But thanks for getting on and spending almost 2 hours chatting. I mean, I can talk about shooting and training forever, but thank you for your time getting on.
You have me.
Yeah, no problem. I'll see you at Granby at some point.
All right, man. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.